Hey everybody, I'm Den Haring. Welcome back to my channel, Fish Den 365. Today, we're going to show you how to make a really cool looking perch swim bait. A perch pattern swim bait. Let me show you how I do this. It's a very effective bait. I had it out today on Lake Wallenpaupack, caught a nice striper on it. So we'll show you how we make this up. We're going to change the camera angle so it's over the shoulder so you can see what I'm doing here and how we make one of these up. Okay, so we have the camera set up so you can see what we've got here. What I start with is this. This is a Matt Steffen guppy head jig, a Dirty Jigs guppy head, and you just take the I like one with about a 2/0 to 3/0 inch hook, with about a 2/0 to 3/0 size hook, and the lead head of your choosing based on how deep you want to fish. And then I'll take a skirt, and I usually buy the Jan's Netcraft Turbo Flare skirts, but you can use any skirt that you want. The reason why I like the Turbo Flares is because they're already made up and they're easy to use, and I like the way they flare out. So what I like to do, here's one that I've already put on the jig head. So this is a heavier jig head that I like to use to get down to a little deeper water. And you can see the difference here between these skirts. I cut the skirt material. First thing I do is I cut the entire bottom off. Now you could buy it this way. You could buy it, this is a Finesse Turbo Flare skirt. I just cut it even more. I just cut this off more, but you don't have to use the Turbo Flare. You can use this and just separate top from bottom and then cut the one side off, which is what I did with this. I put it on the jig head first, and then I just flipped everything up this way, and I cut this off. And the reason why I do that is I don't want too much bulk on the skirt. I think it tends to deaden the action of the bait. I just want a few strands of skirt material that move a little bit and make it look more lively in the water. So let's get those out of the way. And then the other thing I do is I cut it down a little bit. I cut about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch off so that it just hangs down over the hook, no more than 1 inch, about 3/4 of an inch over the hook. That way the tail of my bait still will work. If you leave the skirt down too low, then it interferes with the tail of the bait, the part of the bait that kicks and makes action. So you can choose whatever swim bait you want for this, but I like to use, especially when I'm trying to make a perch, I like to use the Megabass Hazadong Shad, the 4.2 inch. Now I do a mod on this too, so I pull a Hazadong Shad out here. Here's the bait, and I'm going to cut the head off of the bait. I'm going to use a knife, and I'm going to go right behind that gill plate, right there, and just chop the head off. I want a pretty straight body there because I'm going to be putting that on the hook. So we remove the head. We don't need that anymore. And then maybe the most important part of this whole thing is to get this thing on the hook as straight and as perfectly as possible. So let's see how we do with that. So we'll get this guy started. Get him on here. Very critical that it comes straight out the back. And then up on the bait. Looks like I did a pretty good job. That's what you want. I don't like to have a lot of the hook showing when I do this. So the fish bite down on here. I don't seem to have any trouble. This way I don't have a whole lot of the hook showing, but it still is a good bite for the hook. And now comes the last few parts to make this really look like a perch. So the first thing I like to do is just kind of work this bait up a little bit, just to rough it up a little bit. Makes it look a little more alive, like it's been through a little bit of see how it almost looks like scales. When I rough this up, it looks like some of the scales have come off of a bait fish. So I like to rough it up a little bit. Also seems to hold color better that way too. And then I have two markers here, orange and black. I'm going to take the orange marker and just about a 1/2 inch down from the head, I'm just going to paint the belly orange. Put a little splash of orange on there. And then I like to mute that a little bit, so I'll take a paper towel and just kind of rub it on there, just to make it a little, see how that mutes it, gets some of that off of there. Just kind of mutes the orange a little. I'll put a little more orange on the side here, a little here. Definitely want to have that splash of orange the way a perch has, but not too much. So we'll mute the sides down a bit. And then I'm going to just paint some vertical lines with my black marker on both sides. Just paint 3 vertical lines. Do the same thing on the other side. Same angle. Oops. Looks like my black marker is failing me here. Try and keep it even on both sides. And if this was a real strong marker, I might try and mute that as well, but it doesn't seem like this marker has a whole lot of life to it, so already looks pretty muted there. And that's it. It's as simple as that. Make sure that hook's on there right. And I chose a skirt that has a little bit of orange on it, a little bit of a lighter belly. It's got green and a little bit of purple. So it could actually pass for a bluegill as well, but although I think that's more of a perch. So let's show you this. Hopefully you can see the color of that against the white paper towel pretty nicely. And that's my perch pattern. So, you know, and the perch is a good thing to throw, a perch pattern, because a lot of different fish eat it. Largemouth, smallmouth bass like it. Wherever perch swim, they get eaten quite a bit by the predator fish. A little bit something different, but it has that really nice perch look to it. And like I said, today we had it on the water. Take a look at what we caught on it today. Folks, does the bait catch fish? Does it work? It works. Nice striper. Let's get another one. So that's the perch pattern swim jig. Hope you like it. If you like that video, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Remember, we're certified bassified. We're here making videos for you a couple times a week. We've got some good content coming up. If you like this kind of video, I'll be showing some more of these how-to videos on making baits and modifying stuff to make them more effective for catching fish. Fun thing to fish too, this bait. You know, the way I like to fish, I just throw it out there and let it go to the bottom. As soon as it hits the bottom, I'll maybe count to 5, and then I just start reeling real slow. And I'll just keep that thing coming slow, and every now and then I might stop it and let it go back to bottom, just to stay in contact with so that I'm not getting too high up in the water column. Sometimes that works though too. If the fish are suspended, you can count it down to the depth you want. You just go through that depth. I've caught them that way as well. And another way you can fish this bait is just as a jig. You just throw it out there, you let it go down to the bottom, and then just lift the rod up, comes up, and then just jig, and then just falls back down to the bottom again. A couple of different ways that you can fish a swim jig like this, and this is meant to be a bait fish, a perch in this case. Very good, effective bait, easy to use, and it catches lots of fish. Hope to see you on the water out there soon. And as always, may God bless your fishing endeavors.